Good evening, TheoTrade. This is Corey Rosenblumen. You're watching the Theo Nightly video for the 16th of December, 2019. That puts us square in the middle of the month. We're picking up this video today on Monday, and maybe not surprisingly, maybe surprisingly, the market has made new all-time highs. At least the S&P, Nasdaq, and the Dow did. The Russell made a new 52-week high, but again, not quite an all-time high. What we're looking at here, before we talk about the market itself, is a sector perspective. What is that? This is talking about the last 5 years. These are all weekly charts of our leading sector stocks, or sector ETFs. The top three, those are financials, technology, and consumer discretionary, or the retail sector. And these are considered risk on or bullish sectors. The middle three, I for industrials, B for materials, and then E for energy. Strangely enough, energy has been the weakest in the quad or the 5-year study cycle. And at the bottom, we have our defensive names. P, which is staples, goes along with the XLY, discretionary consumer sectors. V is healthcare. The big thing recently, we've discussed this in prior videos, is the breakout from the triangle in healthcare. We'll talk about that momentarily. Finally, XLU is utilities, and these three again are defensive sectors. We are seeing strength across the board, and 2019 is no exception, as all sectors with the exception of B, materials, and really E, energy, they're making new 52, and in some cases, most of them, all-time highs. So these are the ones that are showing relative weakness. The rest are showing strength, and the broad market continues to make higher highs. And we are into 3,200 in the S&P futures. So keeping this in mind, we'll now jump down to the daily chart to look at 2019 and the performance of these ETFs. So no surprise, strength remains in the bullish sectors and in materials and industrials. Weakness is in energy. And the biggest surprise to us in the market here, this breakout in industrials, but it's this persistent and continued strength in XLV, which is healthcare. So that's a sector-specific take. Financials, again, all-time highs. Join right alongside of it with our bullish tech sector, and that's extending gains for the Dow, the S&P, and the Nasdaq. As of this moment, the Nasdaq is up 1%, and other indices are just under 1%. Crude oil closed a little bit higher today, and then gold closed flat. Let's take a look at the quad market grid, and we can see the performance going into today's session. So again, S&P at the left, Nasdaq beneath it. You are seeing stronger price activity in the Nasdaq, Dow, and the Russell. And if we look at the quad market grid, just to start our week, we're looking at the S&P futures and crude oil. These tend to trade together. They are positively correlated. Over here, GC is gold and ZN is bonds. So despite having a trend day to the upside in the equity market, bonds had a trend day to the downside. And looking at the bigger perspective of these markets, again, S&P continues the higher highs, higher lows, and a massive short squeeze the last few sessions. And that's been on relatively high volume. That's either the sign of a blow off top or continuity. We can also look at our sector or stock performing or outperforming stocks of today's session. That includes Amgen, new 52-week high, bursting higher. United Healthcare, which continues to be a strong stock, getting stronger. The most recent bull flag pullback has taken it well above 290, and the buy point just shy of 280 per share. Southern Company is in a strong trend day today, but it's just a rally up off of our expanding triangle pattern. So that's a strong stock getting stronger, along with Danaher, Pfizer, which is a test into resistance, and many other names, Facebook being one of them. And Abbott Labs is into a resistance target in today's session. So beyond that, crude oil is just shy of its 61 per barrel target, and that's up into this resistance point of the sideways trading range. Remember, stocks are at all-time highs. Crude, which is positively correlated, is not. and it looks a little bit, in terms of a range, like the Russell, and that is making new highs above the 1600 breakout. I do want to focus our attention in the video on gold, which is a defensive or risk-off type of market, and that is showing consolidation, a triangle, and this is a short opportunity into the 1480 per ounce level. That's because we're up again into a declining or falling trend line. The same is true, visualize this pattern of an uptrend met with a consolidation in bonds. So ZN is our 10-year bond, and that is showing the same type of pattern. Strong 2019, but the most recent few months, well, those have been in a trading range, and this triangle helps define our levels. For short-term traders who go bearish against or long also against. And these are the pivot points for ZN, similar in ZB. And of course, I prefer to trade with short-term plays in TLT. So the TLT level tends to be just about 137 per share, and the upward declining line is just under 140. Use those as reference points, not exact price pivots. We're likely to get a breakout one way or the other, but right now we do have short-term plays. It looks choppy, sure, but against the resistance, long into support, and then back and forth again. Those are the broader perspectives on the daily charts. So keep these levels in mind. Continue watching the markets at all-time highs. We don't really have clear reference points when a market goes full trend, and we can take a look at 2017 for a potential blow-off top scenario, 2018 for a similar event, and the most recent highs in 2019. So once a market gets going trend, it's engaged in a short squeeze, bull rally, and essentially there's no stopping it until we see a breakdown of these rising trend lines. That hasn't happened just yet. We are in the final couple of weeks of December. It tends to be a bullish event with the holidays coming up. And this time, unlike last December, we are having the bullish plays come to pass. Always be careful, safe, and watch your open positions closely, no matter what time frame or type of trading that you do. And always be careful. This is Corey Rosenblum with your Theo Nightly video for December 16, 2019.